What's up, guys? We are back with a Star Wars Black Series review. Well, two reviews, actually. We're taking a look at the most recent GameStop exclusive figures, so the Gaming Greats line. And some of these have been out for a while, depending on where you are in the world, but they're just starting to hit here in the States. So today we're taking a look at the Force Unleashed Stormtrooper Commander and the Force Unleashed Shadow Stormtrooper. I have really been looking forward to these guys, despite the fact that these are, of course, that older Stormtrooper mold, and we're getting that newer Stormtrooper mold. I'm very excited for these because, well, I love troopers, and both of them look pretty snazzy, this guy in particular. So we've got him here in the standard Black Series packaging for the Gamer Greats subline. So you've got the little call out on the front, but otherwise it's pretty standard stuff. Figure in the window. You've got some colored artwork on the front depending on which one you're talking about. So light blue for the Shadow and dark blue for the Commander. And then you've got a different color backer card inside. No numbers because they're exclusives, and then the back of the package has some of the artwork and then a tiny little write-up for each one. So let's do it. Let's pull them out and take a look. And here they are out of the package, our latest Stormtrooper variants in the Black Series. So we've got two troopers from the Force Unleashed. We've got a Shadow Stormtrooper, and then we've got the Stormtrooper Commander. So translucent plastic on one side, a wild blue and white paint job on another. And I mean, this is exactly the thing that I want when it comes to Stormtroopers. I want the weirder variants. I want the things that you don't expect to get. Frankly, at this point, I don't even remember these characters, these kind of troopers being in the game. It's been so long since I've played the Force Unleashed that I don't know, it escapes me at this point. I would like to think, hint here from Hasbro, that maybe Starkiller's coming one of these days, because I know that a lot of folks would really like that. So if you're listening, here you go. But I am really happy with these troopers. Granted, we're not seeing anything new. We're not breaking any new ground. I suppose if Hasbro wants to get a few more bucks out of this old style body before they hit us with that new one, this is the way to get me. And I mean, I've got two of this one and I've got one of this one, and I need another one of that one at least, maybe two. So let's see what these guys can do. If you are unfamiliar with Black Series troopers, let's just kind of run through them. So they are the same figure. We don't have to really do a whole lot with both. We'll just do it one time. So we've got a head that can look up. They do have the back and forth kind of jutting of the head thing, and he can look down because of that, so pretty decent. There is solid tilt action, and then you've got full rotation. Shoulder pads do get in the way of articulation on these arms, so they go up and then they go over a little bit. You've got rotation. There is a bicep swivel in there. You've got double jointed elbows, of course. We've got a lateral hinge and rotation at the wrist. And then you've got a vertical hinge on at the right. So for your trigger finger, you've got a vertical hinge. We've got a torso cut, so he goes backwards, he goes forwards. Pretty good. Side to side, pretty good. More so than forward and backward, honestly. And then you've got twist at the waist. So you've got pretty decent movement there for a Stormtrooper. Legs go out about yay far, which could always be better. They kick forward about 90 degrees. They do kick backwards slightly. You do have a thigh cut that's hidden with that armor plating. You've got your double jointed knees, and then we've got rocker, and we've got the ever-present kind of weird detent ankles down here when it comes to the hinges. So it's pretty standard stuff. If you've messed with Black Series troopers, you know what to expect for now until they hit us with that new one. But they do still move pretty well, and you can get them into decent enough poses pretty easily. Now, keeping with the Shadow Stormtrooper, because, well, he's here, let's talk about him first. And this guy is, I wouldn't say it's my favorite of the two, but frankly, it's hard to really not favor a semi-translucent Stormtrooper, because the idea here is everything that I like. So it's a metallic trooper, for one. The paint job is very metallic. There's kind of almost like a glittery sheen to it. But then he's got translucent parts. So you've got a translucent torso. You've got translucent arms. You've got translucent legs down here. You've got just all sorts of stuff. And you can see kind of the inner workings in some fashions of some of this design. So I've said it a number of times. I really, really like translucent plastic. It does it for me. Something about it just draws me in. But the overall design here works really well. The black, kind of a gunmetal-y black with hints of silver in it, with that kind of like electric blue almost. Like, that's what I think of. It makes me think of like a very 90s color scheme, that like electric blue color. And I really like it. I think it works really well. Translucent blue plastic, you've got my money right there. There's a little bit of a dry brushing on the torso to bring out some of the sculpted detail there as far as the armor plating, but this guy just looks fantastic. This is a great way to get a Stormtrooper to just be gobbled up by fans, really, to make it, one, a black one. Well, he's kind of black-gray, but then make it translucent, give it a pretty slick blue paint job. And I mean, you got a winning combination here. There's not a whole lot to talk about when it comes to sculpt. If you've messed around with a Black Series Trooper at any point in your collecting timeline, then you know what to expect here. It's pretty decent. There are still some inaccuracies here and there. I'm really looking forward to that new one. But at the end of the day, it's all about the color scheme. It's all about the translucent plastic on this one. And I mean, frankly, it makes it a winner. It makes it into something for me that I want to have more than one of on my shelf. And it's going to have to happen. And then when it comes to the Commander, this is just another thing with Stormtroopers that I like. So your base trooper done up with a pretty snazzy paint job, you've got my money again. And this guy is very much right up my alley. So I love 501st clones, and that's what I think of when I think of this. So it's an automatic winner for me. I'm really happy with the way this guy turned out. Paint job on it is honestly really, really good. I see really nothing to complain about. The actual line work on it is really crisp and clean, and honestly there is a lot of paint on this guy. It's quite a bit as far as the design. It's very asymmetrical, so I dig that quite a bit. The only thing that I don't really like about this one, and this is just more of a pet peeve than anything, it's just something that I don't really care for, is the blast damage and just the weathering on it. It's not generally my thing when it comes to troopers. I really like them being clean. So this is something that I would have preferred not been on there, but at the same time, I don't really mind it either. It's not like it's a deal breaker for me. I got two of these guys, so I was already invested. But I do wish that it didn't have that. Otherwise, though, I mean, I think it looks fantastic. I'm really happy with the paint job here. Just the overall design is really cool. It's going to stand out on a shelf for sure. It's definitely going to draw your attention, and he just looks so different from a lot of other Stormtroopers that it's going to be good to put him at the front of a squad, or just, make him in charge of your entire legion of Stormtroopers. So this is another cool design that it's on an older body for sure, but it really makes this body, this particular figure, into something a lot cooler. It's a nice little refresh, and again, it's an instant purchase. It's something that as soon as I saw this paint job, I'm like, well, yeah, I have to have that one. And it's executed really well here. Again, outside of the weathering on this figure, there isn't anything that I would really want to change. Well, except for seeing that new body. Now, as far as accessories goes, these are Stormtroopers, and we are getting the same guns that we have gotten for years and years and years and years, which is, of course, no surprise. It's exactly what you think you're going to get. So you get two different guns for each figure, and it's the same stuff. So you've got the blaster rifle, your standard Stormtrooper blaster rifle here. So we've got that on the Shadow Trooper. And then you've also got the heavy blaster rifle, which can fit in that holster. If you like me, just like to have your guns all in the same figure. It does look kind of goofy, but it will fit just fine. And then here it is with the Commander right there. So same stuff we've seen for, what? I don't know, however many years, 8 years, 7 years, whatever it is at this point. So good sculpts, they work really well, can be held in either hand pretty well, despite the fact that the left hand on these figures is not a normal trigger finger hand. They can still hold the guns fairly well. Otherwise, you've got a trigger finger hand for your right and a gripping hand for your left for single-handed poses or two-handed poses like you see here. So yeah, these were pretty much instant buys for me. They, of course, don't really bring anything new to the table as far as the figure itself goes, but come on, I was never going to be able to pass up a blue and white Stormtrooper and a black and blue translucent Stormtrooper. I mean, they just sell themselves. This is the kind of thing I like to see when it comes to store exclusives, variants, stuff that don't necessarily need to take up a mainline slot, and I'm always down for more troopers, and these two are exactly the kind of thing that are just right up my alley. They're very different, they're unique, they have great paint jobs, they have translucent plastic, so there's just a lot to like here. Granted, I would love to have seen these on the newer body that's coming, but at the end of the day, I will take them, and I'm going to love them just the same. So that's going to do it for this look at the Star Wars Black Series Stormtrooper Commander and Shadow Stormtrooper exclusives. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.